Wargamer Dave here from miniwargaming.com. Welcome, Wargamers, to the Shrine of Chaos. Today we have Mikey Herbert from Hellstorm Wargaming. And he's been on the Shrine before, and he's certainly a guest who's welcome back, obviously, because he's been here more than once. And we're going to talk about some fun things. There is a giveaway, first and foremost. So we're going to be giving away one of these combat patrols for the Adeptus Mechanicus new starter sets. So that's something we'll be doing a little bit later in the stream. So stay tuned for that as it comes up. And Mikey, welcome to the stream.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi there. I'm very good, thank you. Are you well?
Yeah, excellent.
You've got a new hairdo?
I do. I do have a new hairdo, yes. It feels weird, but I'll get used to it, yeah.
You get some like giraffes across the top of your ears now.
Yes. Yeah, it hasn't even been a week yet. It's like Friday I got this, right? And in preparation for Chaos Rising in Scotland, whenever that comes up. Now, how close are you to Scotland? You're UK, right?
Yeah, so I'm like in the north of the UK, but I'm still probably like 7 or 8 hour drive from Scotland.
Okay. All right, so, that's fair. That's yeah. It's funny, like being in Canada and being from Ontario, 7 or 8 hours is like, okay, go a little bit north, and that's about it. Still in Ontario.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Yeah. So comparatively, it's obviously we're a tiny island, but like I say, I'm in the north. I'm like on the borderline of the north of England and the Midlands. Okay. So that's like that's where I'm from anyway. So
nice.
So comparatively, no, it's hardly anything. But in the UK, that's a huge drive.
But it's very, I mean, you're concentrated, because I've visited the UK twice, and this is my observation, as little as it is. I've noticed that really there is, I mean, when there is traveling that's happening, there's a reason for it, because like everything that you need is just, it's pretty close to where you live, right? Like it's rare. That's what I've found anyway. Like, is that accurate? That's like for you to travel 7 or 8 hours is like a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say that's pretty accurate. Like, obviously, I hardly ever travel outside of, like, let's say my district or like region, for example. I hardly ever go to like London or anything where it's like obviously like super popular travel destination. And I've only been to Scotland like a handful of times. So general normal travel, it's like you probably driving somewhere for an hour is a pain normally, because it's usually so busy.
So for those just tuning in, we are going to do the giveaway a little bit later. Combat Patrol for Adeptus Mechanicus. And we'll be drawing a name randomly from the comments. We'll be asking you a question, and you'll have to answer something at random later on during the show. So if people jump on and they ask, have they done the giveaway yet? If you have watched now, you can answer them. No, they haven't. They will be doing it later. And we'll be proceeding a little bit later on in the show. In the meantime, we're going to be talking about some. In fact, you know what? Heck, let's talk about these guys a little bit, Mikey.
Sure.
So, what are your impressions of the robots and the army that is them? What do you think? Do you like them? Are they good? Do you like fighting against them? Do you avoid them? What are your thoughts?
So I've not played against the new Mechanicus yet, but I've seen them played, and like we ran 2 stream games on Sunday where AdMech were featured in 2 of the games. And I think the main thing is with AdMech is that either as a player who's playing them or playing against them, there's a lot to be aware of all of the time. And I think that's probably like a really big problem that book has, because like they have so many abilities that stack on top of each other during the command phase, which is great. It makes it like a really in-depth book and really strong. But also I think some of it comes down to like almost bamboozling your opponent, because you're like, oh, well, this guy gives me this and this guy gives me this, and this guy can affect this unit, but he can't affect that unit. So I think it's almost like it's a very involved book, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is if you're playing against it and you don't know what your opponent's talking about.
Right. So it's like, okay, I'm going to wait an hour. All right. Command phase done. Okay. All right. So
yeah, we kept calling it the admin mech.
The admin mech, nice.
Because of the fact that they just have like 19 abilities to do in the command phase. Overall, they are a cool book, and they're really interesting. They've got a really interesting play style. Again, we were just talking off stream. You compare them to Tau as a bit of a joke of being like not wanting to play against them, but they do have a very similar style of play, in my opinion, where it's like quite systematic approach to an army, where it's just like everything has to be perfect. like when you're playing like Space Marines or like Chaos Space Marines, you have your units that can be they're really good when they're like buffed up and stuff, but they can act quite independently. Whereas I don't think with Admech and Tau, you don't have you kind of like I wouldn't say like a castle play style, but they are like quite systematic, is where everything has to be perfect for everything to go right. And if you make any mistakes in like the movement phase, then you can really like be punished for it if you lose like 1 or 2 units. But overall, they're very confusing, and I think they just won like 3 major tournaments in the US this past weekend.
I'm not surprised. Not at all surprised by that. Yeah.
I know one of them was Adrian from Tabletop Titans, who I don't think is a regular Admech player, or he might just have started playing them. And he won like a large event. I don't know what event it was. I just saw it on Reddit. And then there's a couple of other ones as well that people were saying, oh yeah, Admech have won this, this, and this. Maybe they're a problem. So interesting conversation though.
Yeah, it's it's funny. Okay, so with the Admech, I mean, my experience is really just fighting against Josh here in the studio, right? And him using his robots and toasters and the things that I'm really not familiar with. So every single time I fight them, it's like, what does that do? All right, those guys shoot really well, but they're really squishy. So there's this like odd feeling of I am getting destroyed by these weaklings, and I can hurt them easily, but I am getting pummeled at the same time. So it's like, at least there's that. At least there's the satisfaction of killing them. And it's not like they're an unkillable. It's not like you're fighting Necrons or like Death Guard.
Yeah.
And so there is that at least. But I think there's a surprising amount of damage and firepower that they deal out, which is completely because everything is smoke, right? Like when I fight them, I have no idea what I'm fighting, and it's that way every time because I fight them like once every 6 months. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna just like gonna hope and see where the dice gods bring us today.
Yeah, for sure. Especially now because I think either the Vanguard or the Rangers, which are the basic little troops, Guitarii, they have like a stratagem which is like if you roll a 6 to hit, you automatically wound, and like Necrons have they have the same stratagem, which is also very good. But the Vanguard, I can't remember which unit it is, but they're both very, very cheap in points. And they have a bunch of shots, and they have call to give them like full rerolls to hit. So you can have them just like throwing out so many dice, just fishing for 6s. Because even if you hit on a 3, if you auto wound on a 6 to hit with a reroll, you could just reroll all of your dice just for the sake of it, just to go for those 6s. And it makes that unit like super efficient. I think like that's a really nasty unit. It dies very quickly, but there's like 60 of them, and they're very cheap. And then they just have loads. They have like the Iron Striders, which are like the bipedal walker thingies, which have like las cannons that are just like super good because they're like D3 plus 3 damage. And they're cheap as well. And that's the thing. There's lots of stuff and it dies really easily, but it's all very cheap, so they just have so much of it.
Yes.
It's almost like a horde army, but it's shooting.
Right. Yeah.
So Tom, I said the 2 games we had on Sunday, he had like 100 odd models,
Oh, really?
as Admech. Yeah, so he just had just a bunch of models, And like and 12 of those models are like, I think they were breaches, which are the tractor things that have got like 3 wounds.
Right.
So he had 12 of those and then like another 80 models on top, It was insane. There's
just so many dice. It's one of those armies with just a million dice, which is great. It's fun rolling copious amounts of dice sometimes.
I love rolling dice. That's why I play Warhammer. But sometimes there's a line,
Oh, yeah. It's like, have you ever played Warhammer with the dice rolling app? Because there's like 100 dice that you got to roll. Have you ever done it?
I have done it in the past, and it was essentially when I was using Ultramarine Aggressors, which shot twice when they moved. So then they got like 12d6 plus, I think it was like 72 shots or something. Okay. And it's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna roll that, especially at a tournament, And I've done it on battle reports as well, where I've gone like, right, these guys have got like 300 shots, so we're just gonna roll it off camera. And then spoiler alert, I didn't roll it. I got a dice app out, and then we rolled the saves on camera. We just gone, oh, it just did this, because it is sometimes just too much.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's interesting. Well, that being said, I never mind rolling the amount of dice that I need to roll when I'm attacking close combat with Khorne Berserkers. That's the only time that I don't mind it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like, even though it's overkill, even though it's like 10 times overkill, And here's the funny, because a lot of times people are like, do you want me to just remove the models? No, I want to roll the dice.
No, suffer. I finally made it to combat. Please suffer.
That's right.
Let me roll the dice. It is sometimes feel bad though when you do like make a charge, like an impossible charge, and you've got through the Overwatch, and you finally make it to combat, and someone goes, "Shall I just take them off?" You're like, "No, mate, I've finally got you. Let me roll it."
Right.
Like Sanguinary Guard and stuff like that. It's just like, please let me roll it. I've got here finally.
Yeah, earned it, right? Like it's like, oh man, yeah. So okay, now for your armies, what are some of the main armies that you play?
So my main faction is Space Marines, like pretty much everybody. So it's Blood Ravens. I think last time I was on the show, you were giving away a Blood Ravens army because I just had that memory.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, that's very cool.
Was it a painful memory?
Pardon?
Was it a painful memory?
No, because you're spreading the Blood Raven love,
Oh, okay. I suppose, yeah.
Enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. I was thinking maybe like, blood. They're. Yeah, I was looking at it the opposite,
exactly.
but no.
It's just like,
you're a lot more positive.
Yeah, exactly. So I played those. I like to play Death Guard because they're really fun. And then Necrons is they're like my three main Imperial, Chaos, and then Xenos factions.
Yeah.
I have quite a few armies though. I've recently been playing Custodes because they're really fun, and I've just picked up a Sisters army which I've just started to paint.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because they've got a new codex and they sound pretty good. And also, I don't have one, so I wanted one.
I like the Miracle Dice mechanic. I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. It's super strong, super thematic, but super duper strong.
Yes. Yeah, I like
and
that.
It takes away the dice roll that we've just.
It does. Yeah, in certain cases, right? Like a good 5% of the time, it's just like, nope, I'm gonna use this, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then you can farm more. Yeah, it's if every army had kind of something like that, and I suppose they do, but not necessarily in the dice manipulation realm. It's more so in the special abilities and the stratagems and whatever, and the combos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could just make their dice more efficient rather than just replacing them completely.
Which
is interesting.
Is there another army you can think of that has another dice manipulation in 40k?
I'm not really sure about in 40k. Yeah, that mechanic was ripped from Disciples of Tzeentch in Age of Sigmar.
That's right.
Yeah, because they roll 9 dice at the start, don't they? And then they can play with them whenever they like.
Right. Which makes sense, magic and the controlling, and that makes sense.
It's cool. I think the problem was with Sisters in the last codex is they just had too many ways to get miracle dice. Now it's quite limited how they can get them. It's essentially when you die, rather than just like whenever something dies and whenever you, I don't know, flip a coin and land a head, you get 5 miracle dice. It was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. I didn't play previous, so I'm not sure what to compare it to. So
yeah, well, I played against them a few times, and it just felt like every time they moved, they gained like 3 miracle dice. And essentially, like I was playing one of our guys here, and he just had like a pile of miracle dice, and he was using them all the time, but it just seemed like he was using them slower than he was gaining them. So just like the pile just grew. But now it's like it's very much nerfed, but not so much nerfed that it's unusable. I think it's like in a really good position now where you gain a good amount, but not too many, which is nice.
It's it actually it's similar to the Blood Tithe of Khorne Daemonkin of old. Where you do this collection of things and you get to spend what you collect, and I hope. Oh man, that is the number one. I always say this, like, if in an alternate universe, if I became the CEO of Games Workshop, number one thing that we'd be working on this next minute would be Khorne Daemonkin Codex. Yeah, Khorne Daemonkin / World Eaters Codex. That's what it would be. Yeah,
makes sense. Have you seen the previews for the new campaign book regarding Be'lakor's Disciples of Be'lakor?
I've seen the data sheet and a meme associated with it. And it was a custody. Did you ever see it?
Is it the custody?
Yes,
I did. I did see that one. Yeah, where it's just like, guess I'll die.
Which is great because it's really hard to kill custodies.
Custodians are pretty obnoxious, especially with the shields right now. But what I was going to say is the Disciples of Be'lakor is a mixture of mortals and demons, where they all function together as one army, which sounds very Demon Kid.
Yes.
So maybe it's like a test bed.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So they have like unique powers which only work on disciples. Be'lakor affects disciples and demons at the same time. So
You know,
it sounds demonkin just without the corn flavor on top.
because
Just
that kind of like
everyone.
all demonkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You know, that actually, it kind of reminds me as well as a War of the Spider, where Fabius Bile is like, he kind of has his own thing.
Yeah.
Hebrew Izzy says, pair character jumping up and down, saying, number
Nice.
one fan.
Excellent.
Thank you for that, Hebrew Izzy.
Love a good super chat, so thanks for that.
Yeah, so that's what I want. What would be your number one on like top of your wish list if you were to like say, hey, Games Workshop, produce?
And not to copy it, but I've always had a bit of a thing for I've never got around to painting them. I was trying to paint them, but I've always had a thing for Zinch, and I've always wanted a Zinch Demonkin book ever since I used to play Khorne Demonkin in 7th edition, and I always like, oh, this would be really cool if you could do it with Thousand Suns and a Lord of Change. That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So almost sounds like I'm copying, but yeah, I think they should all have one.
Yes.
You know, I think as much as the jokes aside, I think Chaos are always like, especially Chaos Space Marines, they're always unloved and pushed to the side. Like, I don't know why Games Workshop hates that faction so much in terms of like what they do for them, but like where they were just like, oh, here's Vigilus Ablaze, that's quite cool. Okay, here's a new codex. It's the same codex, but it's got obliterators in it, but they're still the wrong points. And then when 9th edition comes out, Chaos Space Marines are like, oh, we're going to get 2 wounds, and they go, oh yeah, all this stuff that you had, well, you can't use it anymore because we don't like specialist detachments. I just don't know what they're doing with that faction. Like, why have they always hated it?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly feel that and understand that and question that as well. So
It's just weird.
it is
Very
weird, right? What?
Yeah.
They're
They're the most iconic big bad, you know?
If you think about it, like how many unique models do they have in their product range for Chaos Space Marines? There's so many.
Yeah.
Right? So many.
And they did a range refresh.
Yeah.
You know, all the new Chaos Space Marines, the new Terminators, Abaddon, which I recently finished painted. A lovely, lovely model.
Even like the new stuff, man. Like the Lord Discordant, and you got all like the demon engines.
Exactly.
Like there's really unique if you think about it.
And they
right?
just keep leaving them by the wayside and just relying on, I don't know, rose-tinted glasses or just very good at lore about them. And they just keep bullying them, essentially.
So, okay, here's a question for you and a question for the viewers in the chat as well. If you had the choice, speaking specifically of Chaos Space Marines and fleshing out their product, their model lines, if you had the choice between grabbing all of the Primaris equivalent models and chaosifying them, or creating more unique models like the Demon Engines and the Lord Discordants and that kind of thing, what route would you choose? If it had to be one or the other, what would you go?
Yeah. I don't think giving them Chaos Primaris or like the versions of the units would be a bad thing. I don't think that would be a negative. I think that would only be a positive for Chaos. You know, giving them like a big chunky Redemptor style dreadnought that's like a Hellbrute but bigger and more angry and more fleshy and more evil. Giving them like cool hover tanks would be good. You know, and then just new I mean, they've just had new infantry, so it wouldn't make sense to release even more infantry. But like the specialist units, like aggressors and hellblasters and stuff, having like chaos equivalents would be quite cool. Because again, they've got everything Space Marines have already, pretty much, but they don't have any of the new stuff.
Right.
So again, it just feels like they're just ignoring them and just hating on them for some reason. Why don't they make a new type? They like a new type of possessed, for example, where they just like mini obliterators, but where they're units, you know?
Right.
Where they have one loadout rather than all like a random loadout. They just have a very good gun, you know, and it's sticking out of the shoulder or under their armpit or something, you know?
Yeah.
Which would be cool.
So your answer is Primaris, chaosified Primaris?
Yeah. Given the equivalent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, obviously, no right or wrong answer. Mine would be the opposite, I think. more, because here's the thing, right? Like, as much as there is a many different kind of infantry units, say in the Primaris line, there could be more unique infantry type of models, kind of like the possessed and kind of like the obliterators. Like, they're completely, there's no equivalent.
Yeah.
They're just kind of their own thing. So if there was more of that, I think it kind of like appeases both. Yeah, that's kind of my thought on it. Obviously, either one would be good, right? But if I had to choose, I think that'd be it. And probably incorporating the demons more, like not demons proper, but like demonifying, if that's a word, to like like the obliterators, right? They're 5 up them because they're demons, right?
They're mutation, right?
They're the mutations. Yeah.
They're a mixture. That's what chaos have always been. It taints, you know.
Yeah,
and sometimes it doesn't feel like they're tainted.
Do you remember back in the day when like people, when infantry would disembark from a vehicle and you roll a die and on a 1 they'd be eaten?
Yes, yeah, especially like the Land Raiders.
The Land Raiders, yeah. Like, I mean, everything had a everything had a possession about it, right? The demonic possession on the vehicles, right?
Yeah.
If they brought that back, I think that'd be cool. That'd be really neat.
Yeah, 3.5 edition Codex was always the best, and I think that's what Chaos players always like want Chaos to be, but they've never quite hit the mark since. Where it's just the right amount of demonic flavor in there, whilst also being quite a cool and unique faction.
Did you play that? Did you use that Codex ever?
I didn't. I had it. I think I still have it. I've never played it. So I only really started playing at the start of 5th edition.
Okay.
So my first box set was I bought some Chaos from a friend with that Codex, which was out of date. And then I started playing Chaos Demons, and then I bought Assault on Black Reach. So that all happened very quickly.
Yeah.
And Black Reach was like just launched at that point.
Yeah, that's basically that's pretty close to when I started. Like I never used the 3.5 Codex. I hear about it a lot. But
every Chaos player talks about it.
Yeah, they're kind of like super old school players, right? Tail end of 4th is when I started playing, and then Black Reach, that was a new thing and exciting, and I remember Dark Vengeance when that came out too, and shortly thereafter, and that was a big deal. Anytime like the big the starter set comes out, which is like the edition starter set, it's always a huge deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Except for this time, because I think they did Indomitus, which everyone cared about, and then the new ones, which I don't even know what's in them. No one seems to care about because Indomitus blew it out of the water. Like
Piety and Pain, and like, is that what you mean? Like those?
No, the ones with Space Marines and Necrons in, which have the same models, and maybe that's quite telling because you don't know which ones I'm talking about. But they have a starter.
Oh, are you talking about like the Elite Edition and the
those ones,
Command Edition?
They feel quite forgettable compared to like Indomitus, even though you can't buy it now.
Yeah, they don't seem like. It just feels like, if you want to kind of dip your toe in as opposed to diving in. That's kind of what that feels like.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how that works for them, like kind of money wise. Like, if it's like, okay, we're gonna give people lots of options, so give them and it's definitely good value. Like the Recruit Edition, especially, like the dollar amount on it, like you get more. I think it's Warriors, right? You get more Warriors than you would if you were to buy the Warrior.
I think if you pay like, well, here I think you pay like £5 more than a box of Warriors, and you get Warriors, a character, and then a Space Marine half.
Yes, so it's like, oh my goodness, like that ridiculous in terms of value and comparative value.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you hate the most? There's a question. What army do you just hate?
I hate Tau. Who doesn't? So in my Discord, we have like a message that you can react to, and it gives you like a role, and that'll it's like an army role. So it's like, if you click the Blood Angels icon, it'll give you like Blood Angels, so you can find other Blood Angel players. And for the first, I think it was 9 months of having that set up, we didn't have Tau just because I couldn't be bothered to set it up because you could just exist on their own. That's fine. Again, the problem is like I said about Admech, is that Tau are one of those armies where if you don't play the army, you don't know what they do, and you just take your models off, and it's not fun.
Yeah. So
not so much anymore.
Not so much anymore. No.
They still need to suffer. Same as Eldar.
Yeah. Eldar is a close second. Would you say?
Yeah. So I used to put. I've still got like haunting memories of the end of 7th edition where people were playing Tau and Eldar together.
Oh.
And it's just,
Yeah, it was the worst. It was the worst.
Yeah, like 3 Riptides and 2 Wraith Knights when they were actually good. Oh dear. It just brings back haunting memories.
Yeah, it's too much. Too much shooting. Okay, so here's a question that someone asked in the chat. They said, "What Chaos Space Marine army would you start?" Or what Chaos Army rather? It wasn't Chaos Space Marine. What Chaos Army would you start? So,
Would I start?
Yeah. Would you like advice for them? Which one should they start?
Okay. I think the great thing about Chaos is that they do have a hell of a lot of flavor, and each, like, depending which faction you go for, like which Chaos God you go for, they do have a very interesting, unique play style, which is nice. Which you can't say for a lot of other factions that do. Like, a lot of them feel very samey, in my opinion. There's like a couple of like different flavors, but with Chaos especially, it's like very segmented. So if you like running at things and hitting them, then go for Khorne. If you like being a bit weird and having loads and loads of magic, obviously you've got Tzeentch. If you want like one I've really enjoyed, which I didn't think I did, was Slanesh. Like Slanesh demons.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Like greater demons with just loads of demonettes is actually really fun, because everything's super fast and everything's really squishy, but then it's really satisfying to get in combat, you know?
Yes.
And then if you just want to be annoying, play Nurgle because you won't die. So. But ultimately, it comes down to what sort of play style you want to play, and then what you would like to paint as well, because they are all unique as well. So, I played Death Guard. I have quite a large Death Guard army. They're really fun. I really like them. I like running like big blobs of possessed, and then like just a bunch of troops. I've really been enjoying the Terminus Est Assault Force. Do you know the Typhus specific play company rules that come with Warzone Caradon, where you can't use any vehicles? That one's really fun, because it's just loads of infantry just shambling, which is great.
That's right. I have heard of that one. Really quick insert from Imperial Guardsman. Quote, "May the Emperor bless and protect you all. Nurgle's plague, COVID-19, is being pushed back by his holy psychic might. The Emperor protects."
Nice.
Figured I'd, include that in there. Seeing as that
Perfect.
There was a super chat, as much as I may not necessarily agree with what's being said, just out of consideration.
You're merely doing your duty.
That's right. Yeah. So if I were to start, let's see, how can I look at it? If I were to start an army,
how would you start an army without saying Khorne Berserkers?
There's the challenge, right? Okay, let's focus on the legions then. I would start a. Oh man, there's. Well, here's the problem, right? Like I have every legion army, so it's like, which one would I would actually start a renegade chapter? I would start a new one.
Nice.
That's what I would do. Yeah. And add my own lore to the Chaos army, and build them in such a way where I could actually interchange any rules with them. Yeah.
Nice.
So
I like that.
I would
That's
include. That's how what?
That's how I play Blood Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have no unique founding. Yeah, so
today they're Ultramarines. Tomorrow they're Blood Angels.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually what I would do. So the answer. Thank you, whoever asked that question a while ago, just to kind of get our minds moving in a different direction. That's what I would do, 100%. That gives me the excuse also to kind of collect every single unit in sometimes it's like this unit doesn't necessarily fit in this army, but a renegade chapter you can kind of make it whatever you want, so every single unit can fit. Yeah It's
especially good because, as you said, you can make your own lore and decide, like, okay, these are together and this unit's working with these guys because I want them to. But also on the flip side, like competitively, if you're going to go to a tournament or something like that, or like an organized event, especially if it's like a GW sanctioned event, like the ones they're running in the south of the US, this like later this year or next year, they've essentially said that if you're painted a certain way, such as if you've got Space Marines that are painted like Ultramarines, you have to play them as Ultramarines, and if you're trying to like compete at events, that is a little bit detrimental sometimes. So if you paint them in like a custom scheme that you've got your own lore behind, then you're actually at an advantage where you can do that, and no one bats an eyelid.
Right, because it's your own thing, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. What faction founding are they? I don't know. I don't know. This one today, and no one can say anything about it.
How often are you on Instagram?
Every day.
Okay, so you're active on Instagram,
Yeah.
looking at stuff. So have you seen this army? It's a custom Space Marine chapter. It's the Soul Hunters.
I've heard of the Soul Hunters. I've seen a few pictures of them. Yeah, knocking about.
Yeah, I've recently stumbled across them and shared it on the account, and that actually seeing that inspired me to not only make my own Chaos Space Marine Renegade Legion, but also my own Space Marine chapter as well.
Nice.
Because I play Blood Angels, right? So it's like, okay, Blood Angels are Blood Angels. I can't really play them as anything else. I can maybe like stretch it a bit and maybe kind of flesh out my flesh terrors, but even still, that's a bit of a stretch, right? Because even within the Blood Angels, like Angel Sanguine, they're painted completely different. So
yeah, for sure.
But a custom chapter, not only is there like you playing whatever you want, you kind of paint them however you want, and anything goes. And if that doesn't scream the Mark of Dave, then I don't know what does. Because
that is very true.
It's proxy. It's 100% proxy in its purest form, and that's exactly what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. So I was once burned because of that ruling. I told the story. I've told this story a few times, but I went to a Warhammer World Tournament with my Blood Ravens, and I was using them as Ultramarines with a Gulliman. And as you can see, I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera, but I have a Gulliman painted like a Blood Raven. And I was told I wasn't allowed to use him because he was painted the wrong color. I emailed in advance and said, do you mind if I use them? Blood Ravens don't have a founding chapter, so they can basically be played as anything. Do you mind if I use my Gulliman? And they were like, no, he's painted red. You're not allowed. Which I was very sad about. And then I went to the tournament and I counted 18 other Gullimans at the time. This was at the start of 8th edition when the Space Marines had a codex and no one else did, so everyone was playing Space Marines. There was 18 other Gullimans and only 3 of them were blue.
So that's like...
Because they hadn't emailed in.
It's almost like you asked for permission, you didn't get it, but if you didn't ask, it would have been okay. Like that's probably unfortunate that it rewards the people that don't ask, right? Yeah. And
ever since, I've always painted everything in a custom scheme, so all of my armies pretty much are in a custom scheme now.
Yeah, custom. So it's like... Yeah, okay. There's no argument.
Just to avoid that issue, yeah.
Nick Starter says, paint him hot pink.
Hot pink would be cool.
So for those of us who are just jumping onto the stream and who are curious, we haven't done the giveaway yet for the Combat Patrol for Adeptus Mechanicus. We will be doing it soon. It is available to anyone around the world, so if you're in the UK, yes, you can be included. And we'll be doing that in a few short moments.
You know what, Dave?
What's up?
I will add to the AdMech giveaway.
Ooh.
So I accidentally ordered a few too many breaches.
Yeah, this is. By the way, folks,
I have a spare box.
This is completely. This is unplanned. This is Mikey being very generous on the spot. So thank you for that.
So whoever wins, if you can give Dave give Dave your address, and I'll send these to you as well, free of charge, anywhere in the world.
Cool.
So an extra box of breaches to go with it.
Yeah. You know what? As soon as you did that, the view count jumped by 20. It was like,
hello.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Okay, so just on that, you don't have to enroll in anything. This is completely like Wild West. At some point, we're gonna ask you to type in a keyword, and it's really just literally going to be like mouse wheel cursor. Like we're gonna like roll it up and down, and wherever it lands, it's just gonna land, and then that's it. There's no like special thing. Like it's nothing. You don't have to write an essay or anything like that. It's just a kind of fun, simple giveaway. But in the meantime, let's do this. I'd like to do the tradition where before the giveaway, we do a chaos comment bomb, just as a way of paying it forward and doing all that, right? And so, okay, gonna post a link in the video chat. So if you have not participated in a chaos comment bomb before, this is how it works. I'm going to include a link, and if you're watching this afterwards as well, I've included a link in the post, and bring you to a YouTube video, and just leave a comment on the YouTube video. So I'm going to leave a bunch of links here, just so you know it's unquestionable what video that'll bring you to. And leave a comment on this video. And the comment could be something like, Dave and Mikey say hi from the Shrine of Chaos. Or could be, your Mohawk looks awesome. This is Mohawk Miniatures, just so you know. And yeah, leave any sort of comment like that. As long as they know they have been Chaos comment bombed by the Shrine of Chaos, that is really the most important thing. And the thing I like about this channel, this is recommended by Mikey. The thing I like about this is that there's currently only 5 comments on this particular video. And so when we dump the comments, we hope that the notifications are turned on the phone and the phone explodes. So that's just like that's my dream. Like if I can actually watch that happen in real life somewhere in real time.
I'll get my phone ready in case I get a text early.
So what's the backstory here, Mikey? So this is a buddy of yours?
Yeah, so this is Jay, or Mohawk Miniatures, named after his own hairstyle, which is questionable at best. But so I met Jay when he came to one of my tournaments that I ran.
Nice.
And he was like a big fan of the channel for a long time. He still is a big fan of the channel, but we actually stream together every single Monday. We do the 40K show at 6 o'clock UK time. That's 1 p.m. your time. And we essentially talk about things that are happening in the hobby, mostly about 40K, like whether that's like a cool list that's just won, or a new FAQ that's come out, or just anything really 40K related. And we stream together on a Monday, and that actually becomes a lot of my content for the rest of the week. So I release almost daily 20-minute videos about 40K, about different topics. Like we recently analyzed the new Games Workshop terrain pack that they just released for their GTs. We analyzed the London Grand Tournament terrain pack. We also analyzed like new models and stuff like that, or new rules, etc. And we've been doing that for over a year now, every single Monday at the same time.
Cool.
So he's a good friend of mine. So if you can go say hi on his channel, that'd be awesome.
Fantastic. And thank you everyone for participating in that. There are now over 100 comments on the video.
Amazing.
And if it wasn't for you guys, you viewers, Chaos Comment Bombs would not be possible. So thank you very much for participating in that. It's just always amazing. You know, Mikey, the thing I love about this community is that it's, you complain about the game from time to time, whatever, right? But when it comes to like the human aspect of rallying behind one another, it's one of the best communities, I swear, that exists. Like it's
so bizarre compared to other communities how welcoming this one is.
Yes,
it's just like a super it's still a small community, but it's really closing it, and it feels like everyone knows each other and everyone's like super good buddies with everyone, like, which I think is really cool, And then when people can go and do these Chaos Comment Bombs, or just show support for a little tiny channel, or like a small channel that's trying their best, that deserves more attention. It's great when people can band together and do cool stuff like that. So. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And there's also so many like charities that exist. Like Nova Open is a good example of that, where their whole the tournament convention is based around charity, right? But there's just there's a giving and welcoming, as you said, spirit about the hobby, and like if there's a new painter and they're on Instagram, we're like, hey guys, I just got into the hobby and here's my paint job. I've seen it because I'm on Instagram all the time, and I see like the response from that, right? The encouragement is awesome. It's really amazing, right? And
exactly.
So one of the best hobbies to certainly get into if you're new, and to get back into if it's been a while, right?
It's welcoming to everyone as well, because there's this big thing, like the Fabulous Marines project, if you've heard of it.
I have not. What's that?
Well, essentially, like it's a group of wargamers. Goober Town Hobbies did a really good video about it. I think it was like last week, where he explained everything. But it's essentially like an LGBTQ plus like charity that like loads of people are working together and painting like Pride Marines, so like just Marines just covered in rainbows and stuff, which is excellent. And rather than like giving them chainsaws and stuff, they're giving them power fists because they look like foam fingers and stuff. It's just like a super cool project, and it's like a really good charity that they're working towards. But it's just loads of people just painting loads of Pride Marines, essentially loads of blue Marines just covered in rainbows, which is excellent. Which is super cool.
That's cool. Is that still going on?
I think today's the last day, because I think June is Pride Month, right? So But if you want to learn about it, it's the Trevor Project, and it's the Fabulous Marines.
One more time, it's the what project?
The Trevor Project.
The Trevor Project, okay.
Yeah. So if you just search #Fabulous Marines on Instagram, it'll probably come up. Probably find it.
Cool.
Unless I find some foam fingers, you know.
That's awesome. I love stuff like that. Again, it's just like it's all about like community and strengthening the community, and it's fantastic. Like stuff like that is
exactly,
that's the human element, right? That's the human aspect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So time for the giveaway. You ready?
Here we go.
Okay. So Mikey, I'm gonna let you do the honors of choosing the keyword that people need to type in to be entered. We'll call it entered. Well, to visually demonstrate to us that should the cursor mouse wheel land on you, you're okay with us sending you this stuff. So what
everyone
keyword?
should type admin mech.
Admin mech?
Admin mech.
Okay.
Yes, that's what you should type to win. Because you're going to have to do a lot of admin to learn how to play this RB. So that's what you need to type, you know? Now's the time to practice.
All right, admin mech. Whether it's one word or two, whatever, that's fine.
It'll be fine.
It's fine.
I think everyone got the memo, at least. That's a lot of admin, everyone. Well done. Good practice.
Ooh, I hear the machine revving up. Yeah. Whenever there's like a crap ton of activity, it's always like it goes up.
For sure. That's great to see. Look at that. Just a stream.
Oh man, I have yet to actually play the new admin. I don't.
I wish you the best of luck. I would take a chair for when they have their command phase. So on our stream, every time Tom was doing his command phase, we cut the cameras and just did something else while he did it, and came back afterwards.
There's no joke. No joke. It just takes forever.
No.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that I actually have that would be relatively like competitive against it is my Blood Angels, right? But and like Primaris Blood Angels at that, right? So it's not necessarily the most exciting thing to play, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like to change it up, put some classic in there, right?
Yeah, it's tough. It'd be tough as well because like it sounds like it'd be a very swingy game. Either the Admech shoot the Blood Angels enough where they don't do anything, or the Blood Angels make combat and then the Admech don't do anything. So
yeah,
very like.
All right, here it is.
Stuff.
Here it is. Scrolling back and forth.
Keep typing admin mech, guys. Just keep spamming it. Don't stop. And make sure you like the stream as well.
Yes, that
260 watching and only 93 people have liked. That's terrible.
Excuse me. Oh, that's a good noise. Yeah. Okay, so it landed on Zeildor. So
well done.
Xeildor. Zeildor. That is a viewer on Twitch. So congratulations, Zeildor. I'm going to do this. I'm going to send you a whisper on Twitch here. Whoop. Just so it's like unmistakable, and then we can sort out that stuff. So here we go. Twitch. Nice whisper. Okay, Zelda. Uh-oh. Okay. I said X-E-I or X-I-E? X-E-I? Now the comment is lost because it went back up. X-E-I-L-D-O-R, right? There's only one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it'd be fine.
There is only one here.
There is only one.
Okay.
That's what we should have done. A big brawl.
Okay, I'm going to send you a whisper, Zeildor. And if you message me back, then I know it's you.
Perfect.
Yeah. Alternatively, if you don't receive my whisper on Twitch, you could always just email support@miniwargaming.com. But yes, there you go. You've won. Okay, do me a favor, Zeildor. Message me back in the whisper. Let me know that you're the winner of the Combat Patrol and also Mikey's Breachers.
Yeah.
Are they called Breachers? What are they called?
They are Breachers or Destroyers.
Destroyers.
This is like a mixed kit.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, message Dave back, and then I'll contact Dave, and I'll send these to you as well.
Awesome. I will
Congratulations.
Need name, address, and phone number for shipping purposes, and we will send this through the warp to you, and it will get to you. So, awesomeness.
Potentially at the same time. Maybe not. We don't know.
Maybe depending. Yeah, I guess if you're in the
Depending
UK, like you might get the breaches first, right?
Yeah.
And then you're waiting
Or
like
vice
6
versa.
weeks for the actual combat film.
Yeah.
All right, that's fantastic, man. So if there is anything that you could do, anything that you want to say before we wrap up, what would it be, Mikey?
One thing.
One thing, a shout out, a thought, a challenge, you name it.
Are you an affiliate on Twitch? Can people subscribe to you there?
I used to be, but I have
Not anymore.
since revoked it because of the multiple platform live stream.
Okay.
So they
That's
don't
kinda killed
allow
what I
that,
was
right?
gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and since we don't play
no-
games, so that we didn't really focus on that. We didn't like do live bat reps, so it's like, well,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, that killed that one. So just subscribe to Mini Wargaming. That's what I would say. I was going to say use your Prime sub, but you can't do that on Mini Wargaming. So just subscribe. That's what I would say.
well, that's very kind. That is very, very kind of you to offer that. Okay, here's a thought. Mikey. Maybe we could do something random on the spot. Okay, so
Okay. I love random on the spot. It always goes either terribly or excellently.
either way, it's a fun ride.
Yes.
Okay, could you message me on Facebook Messenger a channel on Twitch that we could perhaps comment bomb on Twitch? Because this is, for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's because it's like live, and it's better if they're like currently live, right? And they have like 2 viewers, like that's the best.
Sure. But say now you're showing the emails on stream.
Let's go back to you.
Yeah.
Appreciate. Thank you.
No worries. So I'm going to go to live channels in Warhammer, and I'm just going to scroll to the bottom. There's someone with 2 viewers. Are they still there? Yeah, why not? This person has 2 viewers. They're painting some Astra Militarum.
Someone's painting Astra Militarum.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever I finish a stream, I always raid someone with like 1 viewer, because it's always funny watching them panic while they're trying to paint and trying to be professional, but also there's like 50 people just joined in all saying something.
Awesome.
It's always excellent.
All right, so you've done something here. All right, so I'm gonna click that. Let's see who we're dealing with here. Nice. This is they literally have 2 viewers. Perfect.
Yeah, one of them's me.
All right. Okay. All right, folks. So this is we're doing something kind of impromptu here. I'm gonna put a link in the chat, and it's to a Twitch streamer. They currently have a couple viewers, one of which is Mikey, and we're going to crash their stream. So we're just gonna jump on their stream just to say hi, just to go in there and see what they're up to, because this is the fun factor, man. Like it's just fun. Here we go. I included a bunch of links there, and I'm gonna go back to it, and I want to see in real time how many people jump on. It's just fun. I love this. It's, you know what it is, because I was born a reactionist, so I love seeing reactions from people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, whoa! Did you see that?
I just saw that stream of people.
It just went. I've never seen numbers jump that quick on. So it went from 2 to 4, and then 61.
Excellent.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
All I can hear is, wow, what's going on?
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my goodness.
Brilliant. Love that. Make sure you go say hello, everyone.
Oh, it's up to 96 now. 97. Wow.
Excellent. Look at that. That was beautiful.
Okay.
Let's get up to triple figures. This could be like their first stream, maybe. I don't know. And they get to like 100 viewers. That would be hilarious.
Amazingness. Okay, here. That's just one more time, guys. In case you missed the link, here's the link. Oh, you had to wait for the ad to finish. That's why it jumped all of a sudden, because it's like, all right, I'm on there. All right, ad finishes. Now I'm on. That actually.
I'm gonna head out. There we go. 115.
115,
Brilliant.
116. Yeah, I love it. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in to this week's Shrine of Chaos. I'm gonna poke around in Jurassic DL3's stream for a few minutes, just to have some fun chatting, And thank you, Mikey, for being on the Shrine of Chaos. If you guys have not seen Hellstorm Wargaming, check out Hellstorm Wargaming on YouTube and on Twitch and on Instagram and everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. Thank you very much for having me again. It's been a massive pleasure.
Absolutely.
Always good fun.
Always a pleasure to talk about how much you dislike Tau and starting
and
new
how
Chaos
Demon King
Legion.
needs to come back, right? The two topics we can always fall on.
That's right. Thank you, guys. Stay tuned next week. Happy Wargaming.